Hello, welcome back to Rise Education and Fitness.
What are we doing today, Mol?
It's not Rise Education and Fitness, I'm just putting it as it was. We are talking about iron today. Yeah. So again, like always, we want to make our videos fun, a little bit of education in there, not too serious. Just want to make you guys learn a little bit more about plant-based diets, and that's obviously what we
promote. Yeah. And let's just get into it.
Forgot what she was going to say then. Right, okay, so should we start off by saying what iron is?
Yeah. Tell me about
Do you know
iron.
what iron is?
No, until she told. No, genuinely, until you told me the other day.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't know certain things, which is fine because we don't know everything, do we? But yeah, so iron is a really, really essential mineral in the body. That not many people think is that important, but it really, really is. Your body can't make it. You must get it from food, which makes it essential. So non-essentials when your body can create it.
So iron is essential. Essential,
yeah. And very, very important for a lot of different reasons. Again, I'll go through this further down the video, but first of all, we're going to say, why is it so important?
Why is it so important?
I'm just putting her on the spot
I know,
as well.
I don't know. I'm just here to look good, I guess.
Ask me the questions.
Yeah. So, come on then, Mel. Why is it so important? Why is iron so important?
I mean, it is very few reasons. So first of all, if you've ever heard of ATP, if you've done physiology before, basically that's the main primary source of energy in the body, and iron helps deliver energy into those cells. So can be a reason. Again, we'll go through symptoms of low iron, but again, tiredness is one, and that's a reason why if you haven't got efficient iron stores in the body, you're unable to produce energy. And again, really, really important for carrying oxygen around the body, and hemoglobin. If you've all heard of hemoglobin before, again, iron is stored in the hemoglobin, which is transported in the oxygen in the blood to cells. Okay, so really important at efficient transportation in the body.
So it basically keeps us alive. If we didn't have any iron, would we survive?
That's a good question. That I don't know actually. I guess.
Or would we just be like frail and fatigued?
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, it is very, very important.
So you were saying about like symptoms then. So like tiredness is one. Like is this like signs that you don't have enough iron? Yeah. Yeah.
So again, one thing before I would go into symptoms, it's very good for immunity as well. Oh. So not many people think it, but you have got two systems. I won't go into it exactly, but your immune system, your non-specific, this is the one we're focusing on, which is like your skin, so your physical barriers. If you think about, we have little things like your eyelashes, you have hairs in the nose, that are your first line of defence. So any bacteria getting into the body, they're there to protect. And if you haven't got adequate sources of iron, it's a lot harder to
really.
Yeah, you can become quite prone to illness very easily. So if you feel like you're getting sick, again, it might not be iron, a lot of different things. Vitamin D, I did do my dissertation, my master's on vitamin D and hepcidin, which is actually produced by iron, and they work in sync. I won't go into that in this video, but
so they're kind of needed.
It's not
both are needed.
Yeah. So a lot of in nutrition, it's very interesting because certain things work together as an overall whole. You can't just say, "Oh, have this," and it will just help one thing. Things work like everything. Really, everything works in sync. In harmony. So yeah, again, this video is about iron, but focus on getting many stores of everything. Vitamin D is massive. It's probably I would say it's one of the key nutrients you should be getting. Vitamin D, because it helps a lot of things. But yeah, not just iron. Focus on everything.
Cool. So symptoms, let's get into it. So fatigue, and you said about when you were saying about how like your eyelashes and like nostril hairs like stop filtering bacteria get in. It's like thin hair a sign of having low iron then? Do you know what I mean? Like thinning of hair?
Yeah, absolutely. Paleness is one.
Yeah.
Brittle nails. So if you're getting hair, everyone's, when you get supplements for hair, skin, nails. Yeah. So if you're brittle, it's a sign as well. Any other ones? like I said, fatigued, dry, cracked skin. So again, if you feel it's not just iron, but it's a good sign if all these are correlating together. If you've got dry, cracked skin, hands, face, feet, anywhere really, if it's becoming consistent. Another one's heart palpitations. Again,
really,
don't be too freaked out by that, because if you're like, oh my god, I might, every now and then it might not be iron, but it is a sign.
A sign or symptom, a possible one. And anxiety goes along with that, I guess, then.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you would never, like, myself, I would never link anxiety to like something of like missing out on a certain nutrient in the body. Yeah, but it could be linked. So
again, it's not direct. We can't say this is from this. This is why when you're having consultations with, for example, if you came to me and had a nutritional consultation, we'd look at everything. We'd start from the diet, your active lifestyle, your previous history, everything, because it can't just be
one specific thing that could be triggering it.
You've got dry skin, or must you have low iron? It could be many of things. So this is why you've got to look at all these different things to really conclude how you are.
A holistic approach to health. Exactly. Cool. So, you said that you can only get iron from food sources. What kind of food sources would you recommend people get or have? Or do you take a supplement? Is that needed?
I don't. However, fun fact, I'll go into this. I actually recently got told I had very low iron symptoms. I always thought
it's not a fun fact.
Fun fact, really, is it? Fun fact, I've got low iron. No, it's not. But maybe for you guys, you might have been interested in that. Because you'd be like, why am I talking about how to get good iron when I'm actually low myself? Which is a very good question. Sometimes, like anything, you might know things, but you don't practice what you preach all the time. And I've only been on a plant-based diet for a year now. And as much as I do, I'm always enjoying it and keeping up with the research, etc., etc. And I do practice what I preach. However, I've been a lot more, what's the word?
Not
relaxed, in tune, like intuitive. Like,
intuitive eating.
But now I'm very direct with, now I've been told I've got low iron, I'm actually
focused on it.
I'm aware of it, that's what I was meant to try and say. So I'm trying to do things like these, which I'll tell you in a little bit how you can go about that. But yeah, basically, you've probably heard, being on a plant-based diet, it's harder to get iron sources. People on vegan diets might say it's not. I still think it is harder, but very much doable. You've just got to
eat a lot of spinach.
Another thing, it's not a myth, because spinach does contain iron, but
it's not very much in there.
No, there still is. It's just it gets but I'll talk about that now. So basically, you've got your heme iron, which you've probably known, that's in all animal products. So it is very readily absorbed in the body, which is why people will say you don't have too much. Not many people will have iron deficiencies if they're regular meat eaters.
Is that especially like red meats then? Is that higher?
Particularly red meat. So you might have known people of, some people might have to eat red meat
once a month or something like that. Yeah,
potentially true, but I think there's ways you can go about that and not having just to eat meat because of it. Non-heme iron is in plant-based foods, which obviously is what we have and what we're trying to promote. However, it is harder to be absorbed. So there are ways around that though. So lots of foods, which again, where do they come from? Plant-based options are lentils, grains, seeds, nuts.
What about things like tofu?
A little bit, yeah. Again, that's got quite a bit of calcium in as well, which I'll talk about in a bit. But so oats, grains, nuts, that kind of thing, legumes, pulses, all that kind of things, which you'd probably, I don't know if you're aware of that, but have your main sources of iron. But they do contain phytates, if you've ever heard of, which is something that is quite hard to absorb in the body. So if you think of, we talked about this earlier, bioavailability. She was like, what's bioavailability?
But I've heard of the word, but never had it broken down for me. Do you know what I mean? So
what does it mean? All it means, bioavailability in the body, basically means that how well is it broken down in the body. So you might have something that, even if it's a high iron meal, you might think, oh, well, that's it, I'm sorted. I've had my iron for the day. However, a lot of different things could be going on in the body. You might have low stomach acid, which is not able to break down the iron properly. You might be having calcium with your meals. And again, I'll go into this a little bit more detail in a minute, but calcium actually, again, it doesn't completely prevent it, it just reduces the amount of iron absorbed in the body. So I'm going to speak about some tips that you can take away in a minute. But again, these little things, it's nice to know a little bit more. So if you're low iron like me, trying to take all of these things and piece them together to help that absorption rate. So yeah, bioavailability means how well is it absorbed in the body. So if you have certain things going on, you can do things to help the bioavailability, if that makes sense. I might have just confused you a little bit, but
no, okay.
Do you get it a little bit?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Are you there?
Just confused that, didn't I?
So right, so we've said the different foods. What things can you like pair with it? You said there's things that you can add to help the bioavailability. There you go, I got it right then. So what things can you like pair together? What foods or like what vitamins help that absorption?
Vitamin C, massive one. You might have heard of that. Pairing vitamin C with your iron-rich meals. So for example, I'm going to give you a meal example. Again, we've just made a blog on this as well, which will cover a lot more.
So much more detail.
A lot more detail, because we don't want to. You might be interested in long videos, but we like to keep them fairly steady, not too long for you. So you can read on that as well, a lot more detail.
That'll be linked below as well.
Link below. There we go. Well done.
Right, round it up. We're talking about matching things together.
Vitamin C, so that helps the absorption by a lot.
Okay.
Vitamin A also has, so things like sweet potatoes, carrots, all of like more of your orange foods. Peppers as well, red peppers also have vitamin C in there as well. So lemon juice has vitamin C. You look really confused.
No, are we talking vitamin A or vitamin C? I'm getting lost.
Vitamin A is the orange foods, so like sweet potato, carrots, even red peppers have it in, and they're really, really good, red peppers, because you also have vitamin C in them, which helps the absorption.
What about orange then? Because everybody says, oh, an orange has got vitamin C. It's like got vitamin A in as well, or no?
I have to double check that. Vitamin A. It has a little bit, but it's more of a vitamin C food.
Right. So
it's
what
citric food.
So what vitamin C's would you say are really good to pair with iron then?
So say you're having a salad, you're having salad leaf, so it's like spinach, you've been told spinach is really good. So having a bowl of salad with spinach, lentils, got some pumpkin seeds, really good source of iron as well. Cumin seeds, really good. Got some tomatoes in there, source of vitamin C. Squeeze of lemon juice on top, vitamin C, and that will really, really help that absorption rate. So these are little tricks that you can pair.
Cool.
Which not many people think about, if that makes it a little bit easier. Again, I've got meal examples on the blog as well.
Nice. That's cool.
Just to give you a little example.
So any like takeaway tips or recommendations for people watching that think they might have low sources of iron? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, before that, again, one thing we didn't say is about how avoiding teas. You know how we talked about phytates before? Teas and coffees contain phytates. So try and avoid teas and coffees with your iron-rich meals.
Right.
And again, for me, that's quite hard, because I love waking up in the morning and having a coffee with breakfast. And I still do it sometimes. Yeah, pat on the back. And again, it's not to say never, you can't ever do it, but if you're just a little bit more conscious about your diet, try and spread it out. So even
in between meals.
Yeah, so try and wait about 2 hours. So say you wake up, you can either do it which way you prefer. You can have your breakfast first, wait a couple of hours, have your tea or coffee, or the other way around. It just helps because it does reduce the iron absorption, so just try and be aware of that. Also, calcium, like we spoke about, can prevent the absorption a little bit. Again, you could be like, well, surely what am I meant to have if calcium's in fortified milks, if it's in tofu? How am I meant to go around this? Again, doesn't mean you say you can't ever have it. It only reduces it a little bit. But just be aware,
mindful,
make maybe one meal where you just have completely iron-rich meals with vitamin C and no calcium, no tea, anything, if that makes sense.
Cool.
And again, one more, soak your grains and lentils help as well. So if you've got like soybeans, chickpeas, red beans, lentils, try soaking them before you cook with them. You should really anyway. It gets rid of any, if you've got any bacteria on there, but it helps the absorption of the body. Again, that bioavailability we talked about. helps you absorb properly, so you're not wasting any of the iron that's present in the foods. So soaking overnight and then cooking with them, but try and cook with some fresh water, so you're not cooking with any dirty.
Not the same. Ew,
Yeah,
gross. Sip
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Cool. So takeaway. Let's round it up. Give them a little takeaway from what we've talked about today.
Takeaway.
Yeah. So
Takeaway.
you can get enough iron from a plant-based diet. It is a little bit harder. That's one thing that I've took away.
Yeah.
I've understood what bioavailability is now. Easier absorption. How it absorbs into the body.
Yeah.
What else would you say? Takeaway tips.
Yeah.
Pairing things.
things really good.
So vitamin C and vitamin A with your iron sources.
Yeah.
Stay away from tea, coffee.
Mhm.
Trying to think what else.
And just try and again, numbers, facts and figures. Numbers is not something everybody is aware of, and I know I try to live quite flexible now, but just some if to be aware of. Women, fun fact. This is a fun fact. Many people think males. I mean, most things, males have to have more of everything just because of their build. They need more energy, etc. Because if most males are bigger, more muscle, etc. So they've got higher metabolism. But for iron, in fact, it's actually a lot more for females.
So women need a lot more.
A lot more. So I think it's about between 19 and 50-year-olds need about 18 milligrams per day. But about 14 to 18-year-olds need about 15 milligrams a day. And males actually need around, so the older age need about I think 8, and then the lower again is about 6. So it's actually quite a lot different.
That is a huge jump. Why is that? Do you know?
Yeah,
is that like backed up research? I don't know.
Yeah, the reason is, I mean, I spoke recently with Stoke City footballers, the females and the younger ones though, and I said for them, this is something they need to be really conscious about, especially female athletes, because they've got a lot of stress on the body, the impact they're doing. They're losing, like, think of that impact on bone, you're losing cells from that impact, so you need to replace that with red blood cells, etc. And you can help that with the iron in the body. Again, women menstrual cycle every month, you're losing a lot of blood. Yeah, it's just, especially at the young age, you're going through a lot of hormonal changes, so it's very key that you're not missing out on all these
important nutrients, right?
Exactly.
Super important.
And again, pregnancy and lactation, females need even more than that, a lot more. So again, if you're unsure, speak to your doctor. Again, we're here to help guide you and etc. But if you want your results, like you want to know how much you are, because we are telling you this, but if you've already got high iron, which is hemochromatosis, if you've got a condition where you've already got high iron, you don't want to increase it, because it actually can be very harmful for the body. You shouldn't aim for more than 45 milligrams per day, which is a lot.
And I know it's hard. Some people don't track macros and like track their diet. So
you don't need to.
Yeah. But it is important to like speak to somebody. If you're completely clueless, it's so important to reach out and speak to somebody like a nutritionist, somebody who knows their stuff, but equally go to your doctor to get your blood results and see what's going on.
So it's good to log, not all the time, but if you're curious, I think I might have low iron, I'd obviously get checked. But you can like work out yourself again how much you're getting per day. And on a plant-based diet, we do recommend actually to increase it by about 1.8. So that's, I mean, your guidelines 18 milligrams for our age per day, but increasing that by 1.8 is about 32 milligrams per day. So just be aware of that. Really try and up the amount of iron you're having, because it's important for many functions, not just what you think it would be. Do you know what I mean?
Cool. So iron is important. Please look into it. Look into it. And thank you so much for watching, Mom. Thanks for like sharing your knowledge with us. Appreciate it as always. I feel like I always learn something from this. But if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Sending lots of love.